Well, to answer this question, well, so what's the information we have from this question? Given that x,
So,
denotes the,
please show the question part again, sir.
well, you can take a snapshot of this so that the question will be available in your mobile phone or something like that, isn't it? Or if you are looking on the screen, you can snip it and paste in the Word. Snipping or print screen or something like that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Well, can I move on to the answer?
Yes, sir.
Well, so x denotes the number of miles that a person travel with 1 gallon of petrol, and this distribution approximately follow normal. This is what the information given, right? Isn't it? So when it is following approximately normal, we also know that what is the average mileage of that bike with 1 gallon of petrol. What is that information is given? Say it is 60 miles. Okay, 60 miles. And what is the standard deviation? First one is mean, mu. Next one is standard deviation, sigma, which is equal to 10 miles. Is the information given us, right? With the help of this, what actually we need to find is the first one, assuming that a person starts the journey with 1 gallon of petrol in his motor tank, means that the bike contains 1 gallon of petrol. By chance, if the bike contains something like 2 gallons, then what would be the average for the 2 gallons of mileage? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
If by chance bike contains 2 gallons and you started your journey, then what would be the mean and standard deviation? Let us suppose on an average per 1 minute you supposed to travel.
So your voice is not
How
clear.
much distance you can cover for 2 minutes? For 1 minute, let us suppose 60 meters you traveled, and for 2 minutes, how many meters on an average you can travel? Hello? Hello? Am I audible, Anmol? Neha?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes,
audible
sir.
now.
Then, so you traveled 60 meters of distance for 1 minute, let us assume. And for 2 minutes, how many meters you can travel on an average?
So we can travel 120.
Like that. So now, if the bike contains 2 gallons, then average would be
So it should be 120.
120 miles, like that. Okay,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Huh?
Yes,
So
sir.
in question, any changes comes into picture, then accordingly you need to answer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, so the first point is that we need to plot the distribution of normal with a given data. So I just wanted to show the distribution of normal with the help of our program. So what is the input? Mu we have 60 miles, and standard deviation sigma,
So 10 miles.
SD is equal to 10 miles. So we want the normal distribution. I showed in the last lab what is the syntax for distribution of normal. So we need to use the D norm syntax. Before D norm, you must know what is X. X is a random variable that takes certain real values. What is the domain of normal random variable? Hello? What is the domain of normal random variate? You noted down the distribution function in the last class, right?
Yes, sir. It should be minus infinity to plus infinity.
Can we generate the points from minus infinity to plus infinity using our program or any tool?
No, sir.
So what does it mean basically, minus infinity or plus infinity? Basically, it represents some large enough value. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, for ease of understanding, I may take the domain, because the average it shows that around 60. Let me take the value from 0 to something like 100, for instance, my X domain. Okay. Sequence of points between 0 to 100. Of course, you can take minus 100 to plus 100 also, nothing wrong, or minus uh, as you wish. Okay. Let us imagine that I am taking a sequence of points from 0 to 100 with a length, means that the number of points in that sequence is supposed to be something like approximately 300 points I have taken. Why I am taking as many as points between 0 to 100?
So that we have a large enough domain.
So it is that is the lower limit and upper limit will tells us, but in between 0, 1, the interval, you have infinitely many points, right?
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to look at even those infinitely many points with this step length 100. 300 seems to be the step length, and an average h is going to be something like 0.3, something like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can even take less step length, means that then length will go. So as it is a continuous distribution, so we wanted to look at as many as points on the real line. Okay, that is the idea basically. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now X contains right now 300 observations. If you want to take, you can take 1000, 1 lakh, 500, as you wish. Okay. Now I'm going to use the D norm syntax. What is that? D norm. So this computes the distribution of a normal variable x with respect to the mean mu, with respect to the mean mu and the standard deviation SD. Now it contains the values ranging between, can you guess? Dn contains the values ranging between can you guess the range?
So it should be between 0 to 100.
Why?
So because x is between 0 to 100.
X is 0 to?
No, sir, x, but not including 0.
Let us look at what are the values are there in. So Dn, round of Dn to say 3 decimal. Let me see, we will have almost 300 observations. To 89th observation, 19. So all the values are ranging between 0 to 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. It is a probability distribution function, remember. As it is a probability distribution function, the values must lie between
0 to 1.
Okay, that is one point. But the next case, the t distribution in the coming modules which you are going to observe, this value is not just between 0 and 1, the values may be beyond 1. There, that is not just as a probability distribution function, that is just treated as a distribution function. Okay, and whereas that cumulative values, the spreading is more than this. Okay, let me look at little later what is the t distribution, f distribution apart from this. But as of now, normal, binomial, Poisson, exponential or gamma, these are probability distribution functions. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, now if I'm going to plot this data, plotting the distribution of normal of type, say something like plot x versus n, dn, type is equal to something like L linear, or before that I can go for just the scatter plot. What do you notice? Hello? It is showed some plot, right?
Yes, sir.
What kind of plot you are noticing now?
So it is a symmetric plot.
Symmetric curve. What is the mean of this distribution which we have considered?
So it's 60.
60, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
on the plot, where you are getting the highest value, that is a model value,
So on 60.
again is 60, right? So it is
Yes.
symmetric about the mean mu, where mu is 60, right?
Yes, sir.
So as you said, it is symmetric, but by looking into the graph, it seems that lower tail is longer than upper tail. What would be the reason? Is it giving any indication that the data is, what is that, skewed behavior?
Yes, sir. It seems a bit.
But I won't agree with that. Why? As you
So
are aware
there-
that it is
Yes, sir.
always symmetric. When it is symmetric, skewed behavior will not be there. Remember. So it will contradict then. Okay. If you are
Yes, sir.
agreeing that it is symmetric, then there should not be skewed behavior. Okay.
So the reason could be that the distribution is like unequal because we have 0 to 60 on the left side and 60 to 100 on the right side.
Yeah, that may be the reason. And we are not taking the entire domain of X and simple, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
have taken just a partial domain, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because of that, it seems. So therefore, when you are involving in some analysis, you need to understand what's the domain you have considered. What would be the actual its population domain? Okay. So when you are taking into the partial domain and you are going to take some decision on that, your decision should reflect the entire population. Remember. So in such a case, your decision should be taken with utmost care. Otherwise, your decision may be wrong. Okay.
Sir, so if we take x from 0 to 120, then will we
It
get a
may seems
perfectly
to you,
symmetric equation?
it may appears to be something like a symmetric form. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Because you are taking left to the mean and the right to the mean same length. So obviously, it seems to be something like a same, okay, symmetric
Yes.
behavior. But in overall, this left side it slowly approaching to the horizontal axis, and the right of this also slowly approaching to the horizontal axis. Okay.
Yes,
Mu
sir.
is 60, right here.
Yes, sir.
And let us look at one of the properties of normal distribution. What is mu plus sigma? Sigma is given as 10. Mu plus sigma?
So 70.
70. Mu minus sigma?
So 50.
50. Before answering the other questions in the, actually we plotted the distribution of the normal. Remember, as per the given question, plot the distribution of normal with the given data. Yes, we plotted it. Fine. Whether this question is completed, we need to answer this. Before answering this, I wanted to verify one of the properties from the R program, that probability of what I want is mu minus sigma, that is mu minus SD is less than X is less than Y, sorry, is less than mu plus SD is how much? This probability I wanted to estimate. As you said, this will be something like probability of mu is 60 and SD is 10. It seems to be something like 50 and 70, right? Let us look at, there is a cumulative probability distribution in our program. For that, we need to use p-norm syntax. And of course, this can be written as probability of X is less than 70 minus probability of X is probability of X is less than 70 minus probability of X less than or equal to 50. Well, now there is a syntax p-norm to find the cumulative probabilities. So I suppose to use the p-norm syntax, p-norm, X is less than 70. So X is now 70, comma mu, comma standard deviation SD. Whether we use the same lower case letters for standard deviation? Yes. Minus P norm of X is here 50, comma mu, comma standard deviation. What is the answer? Hello?
So 0.6826895.
What I said, the property that between mu minus sigma and mu plus sigma, the area under the normal curve would be 68%, I said in the last class approximately, right?
Yes, sir.
If you multiply this, is it approximately 68%?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is mu minus sigma to mu plus sigma. This is true for whatever the values of mu and SD for a normal distribution. So it will cover approximately 68% of area. And in similar fashion, if you wanted to look at, say, what is mu minus 2 sigma? Is it 30 or 40? 60 minus 20, 40. 60 plus 20,
80.
80. Let us look at, sorry, 60 plus 20 is 80. So this is a 80 and 60 minus 20 is 40. Now mu minus 2 sigma to mu plus 2 sigma. What is the area approximately?
So 95%.
The same thing I said, 95% approximate area. Mu minus 3 sigma to mu plus 3 sigma. Mu minus 3 sigma. 60 minus 30. So 60 plus 30, 90. 60 minus 30 is 30. This area 99.9% approximately. Let us look at 99.7%. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So in order to investigate the behavior of the curve, so you need not go to the complete minus infinity to plus infinity domain. It is enough to look into the maximum of mu minus 3 sigma to mu plus 3 sigma, as it contains approximately 99.7% of area. Understood? So that your minus infinity to plus infinity domain is now that is infinite domain. You are now reducing it into a simple finite domain, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is one advantage with this. What is this? Normal distribution. Well, so now let me go to answer the second part of this question. What is this? Find the probability without refill he can travel how many kilometers? More than 75 miles. More than more than
75 miles.
25 miles. That means probability of what we need to estimate? Probability of capital X is greater than
75.
25. How do you get the answer? Probability of X is greater than 75. 1 minus, as the total area under the curve is 1 unit or 1 square unit. So this can be rewritten as probability of X greater than 75 is equal to 1 minus probability of capital X less than or equal to 75, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, I is supposed to convert this into standard normal variate. So by taking X as Z as X minus mu by sigma, X minus mu by sigma, which is less than or equal to, now this is 75, X is here, 75 minus, what is the known mu? Mu is 60, sigma is 10, and this I suppose to take as Z. Now X, is a normal variate with mean 60 and standard deviation 10, whereas Z is a normal variate with mean is what? Do you know the mean of Z? Hello? Do you know the mean of Z? As I said in the last session, Z is a standard normal variate. When it is a standard normal variate, then what is the mean? If you have doubt, now let us define Z is equal to x minus mu by standard deviation. Then what is the d norm of Z of course this mean is going to 0 and standard deviation is 1. So it is case sensitive. So if you want, you can plot this plot of dn plot of zdn. Mean is 0, right? Of course, we know that this follows a standard normal variate where z is this mu is 0 and this sigma is 1 unit for z. And now this value is equal to 1 minus probability of z less than or equal to 75 minus 60. How much? Is it 15? 15 by 10, is it 1.5? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now we can use this R program to find z less than or equal to 1.5. Now for that P norm, what is z? 1.5. For z standard, this mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1 unit. What is the value? 0.9332 approximately. 1 minus 0.9332. This can be even verified with the statistical tables 1.5. See that 1.50. Is it appearing as 0.9332? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are also given the same answer, right? 0.9332 approximately for 4 decimal rounding.
Yes, sir.
And we are taking that. Now 1 minus of 0.9332, how much?
So 0.0668.
0.0668.
0.0668.
Now what we have the information is the probability that she can travel more than 75 kilometers is 0.06. It is an, if you multiply this by 100, what you are going to get? How much percentage you will get?
So about 6.68%.
Means that approximately 7%, can I say?
Yes, sir.
So roughly there is a 7% of chance that the person can travel more than 75 kilometers or the 75 miles with 1 gallon of fuel in his motorbike. This is the information. Suppose you are sending a what is that, satellite or missile or aeroplane, anything from one point to the another point, you must know what is the average mileage of that and how much distance you are going to send that missile or rocket or whatever it may be. So whether that fuel is enough to travel your targeted distance or not. How do you come to know that? Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So based on the average miles and using the normal distributions, and you will estimate, will be able to estimate whether your targeted distance has been covered or not. For that, what would be the chance of reaching to the targeted point with the enough fuel or the available fuel of that? Okay, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, so did you understood what I explained here? We plotted normal distribution. We have shown that the areas under the normal probabilities for okay, and as per the question, we computed probability of x is greater than 75. What is this next point that we need to answer? Probability that without refilling he can travel between 55 and 80 miles. Between 55 and 80 miles, right? Between 55 and 80 miles. Can you answer this question now? What is the formula that you need to use here? Mathematical representation of this. Probability of x is between 55 and 80, right? Do you get this probability? You can convert this into probability of less than, so this is 55 minus mu and this is 80 minus mu. So now probability of 50 minus this is 60 by 10, and this we may take as z. 80 minus mu is 60, sigma is 10. minus 60, 55 minus 60, minus 5 by 10. Is it minus 0.5? Sorry, minus 5 by 10. Yeah, minus 0.5, right?
Yes, sir.
And 10 by 10, sorry, 20 by 10.
So 1. But sir, 2.
2, right? Well, this probability you need to find. How do you get this probability? Probability of z less than 2 minus probability of z less than or equal to minus 0.5. Right? Now, z less than or equal to, using the statistical tables, let me find out what is p z less than 2. Where is statistical table? Z less than 2. Yeah, 0.9772, right? 2.0. 0.9772. 0.9772 minus z less than or equal to minus 0.5. Minus 0.5. 0.3085. 0.3085. What is this difference? 0 point?
So 0.6687.
668 83 or
Say 87.
6687. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you can say from this information?
So that there is a 66% chance.
67.
Yeah,
Next decimal
67.
you need to round. Approximately 67% of chance that a person can travel between 55 to 80 miles with 1 gallon of petrol in his bike, right?
Yes, sir.
So based on this information, suppose the cabs are now running, right? They can estimate that, okay, how long they can travel with 1 liter or 1 gallon of petrol or kind of thing, and accordingly then they can go for the next filling station and then they can refill the petrol or the fuel. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So till anybody having the doubts on normal distribution?
Sir, so if in the question it was given, let's say 2 or 3 gallons, so how would the standard deviation change?
Standard deviation for 1 gallon, the average you just multiply because the ranging is going up, right?
Yes, sir. So we will multiply both
Yeah,
mean as
multiply
well
them by
as
2.
the standard deviation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Right. Any other doubts? If you have no doubts, I will show what is gamma distribution function. You just make a note. We will discuss the examples on that in the next session. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because the gamma is, next exponential distribution is again special case of the gamma. What is gamma distribution? This also called as Erlangian distribution. So a continuous random variable x will have a gamma distribution of the probability density function fx alpha beta. So what are the parameters here? We used to represent alpha and beta. Okay. Now this x is greater than or equal to 0. What is the domain of gamma now? What is the domain of gamma? Hello? Is my
So 0
screen
to
visible to you?
infinity.
Sorry?
Yes, sir. So so would it be 0 to infinity?
Yeah, it is 0 to infinity, from origin to infinity. Okay. Half of the real axis, 0 to infinity. Where alpha and beta, the scalars also greater than 0. Have you heard gamma alpha or gamma n in calculus for engineers? Capital gamma of alpha or gamma of n. No idea? Whether
No,
you
sir.
learned gamma of n in calculus for engineers? Hello? Any one of you?
Yes, sir. We studied gamma and beta functions.
Yes, gamma and beta function. This gamma of alpha is also a gamma integral, remember. What is the gamma of n formula which you learned in calculus for engineers? Integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus x into x to the power n minus 1 dx, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you remember gamma recurrence relation, like gamma of n plus 1 is equal to?
No, sir.
N gamma n. What is the recurrence relation? Gamma of n plus 1 is equal to n gamma n. If n is an integer, gamma of n plus 1 is equal to n factorial, right? Okay, these properties you might learn in gamma integral. Of course, those points also you need to remember here once again, recall once again so that you can make use that here. Okay, so what is the gamma distribution function is given? 1 over beta raised to alpha into gamma of alpha into x to the power alpha minus 1 into e raised to minus x by beta. 0 otherwise. Let us suppose if I put beta is equal to 1 in the expression, what is the resulting answer here? If I put x as beta as 1, then x to the power alpha minus 1 into e raised to minus x by gamma of alpha, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you put beta as 1, then the distribution we call as a standard gamma distribution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let us suppose if I put alpha as 1 instead of beta, what is the resulting answer? What I am keeping? Keep substituting alpha as 1, beta remains same. X to the power 1 minus 1, x to the power 0 is 1, e to the power minus x by beta divided by gamma of alpha, that is alpha is 1. What is gamma of 1? If you remember, as I said, gamma of n plus 1 is n factorial. Gamma of 1 can be rewritten as gamma of 0 plus 1, which is equal to 0 factorial. What is 0 factorial?
So
1.
So gamma of 1 is
1.
1.
1. So gamma of 1 is 1, beta raised to 1. So what is the resulting answer? X to the power, e to the power minus x by beta divided by
Beta to the power alpha.
alpha is 1, huh?
Divided by beta.
So e raised to minus x by beta divided by beta, right? Whole divided
Yes,
by
sir.
beta, right?
Yes, sir.
Let us keep rewrite 1 by beta as lambda. Then what we get? E raised to minus lambda x divided by lambda form, lambda times e raised to minus lambda x, right?
Yes, sir.
So e raised to minus x by beta whole by 1 beta, or lambda times e raised to minus e raised to minus lambda times x into lambda. Both are representing the exponential, means that if you put alpha as 1, you will get an exponential distribution. If you put beta as 1, you will get a standard normal distribution in this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the case where we are substituting beta is equal to 1 and resulting answer. And the mean and variance of gamma random variable is given by mean is alpha beta and the variance is alpha beta square. Okay. And the cumulative density function of the standard gamma variety is given by f x alpha beta equal to integral 0 to x y times y raised to alpha minus 1. Of course, this is the expression x is replaced with y here and accumulating up to x and resulting answer. And this expression capital F x alpha we call as incomplete gamma distribution. So we have incomplete gamma function in the tables. I think this is up to F is there. Okay, incomplete gamma had to attach to this. Okay, right. This will be shown in the next class. Okay. So as usual, probability of A less than or equal to X less than or equal to B is equal to FB minus FA. And any general gamma random variable that is given with the parameters alpha and beta can be transformed into an incomplete gamma function by dividing x by beta. That means if you wish to find out the probability of capital X less than or equal to little x, then this is supposed to be capital F of x alpha beta, and this can be transformed into an incomplete gamma by dividing this x by beta. So capital F of x by beta comma alpha. So this is called incomplete gamma function. This is same as this. Okay. The examples on this incomplete gamma or the gamma related will be discussed in the next session. You just keep refer till this gamma. Okay. It's in the uploaded material. Well, any doubts are there will be discussed in the next session again. Okay. As I said, the exponential distribution, if you put alpha as 1 over beta e raised to minus x by beta. Okay. You go through it, this 1-2 pages of gamma and exponential distribution before the next class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. And tomorrow we have lab session. We will discuss certain sums on a normal distribution and how to visualize the area under the normal curve. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So then followed this gamma exponential will be covered. Okay. In the lab session itself. And by Thursday this module will end. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Well, so before then you need to note down what are all the doubts you have in the third module as well on the fourth module. Okay. So that all your doubts will be addressed tomorrow and day after tomorrow also. Okay. If you
Yes,
have
sir.
any. Well, thank you all then.
Sir, can we keep the quiz on 28th May, like like I asked among
Yeah, if
among others
28th
and
is
almost.
convenient to all of you, then
Yes, sir.
okay, 28th evening sometime like
So after 4 p.m.
yeah. So I need to check my exam duty on that day, the VT exam duty. Okay, so they are going
Yes,
to
sir.
populate the duties soon. Okay, as soon as
Yes, sir.
they populate the duties into my login, okay, then timeline will be observed mostly after 5. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if the examination continues till 5 or 5:30, then we can have the exam by 6 or 6:30. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So the timeline will be informed. Date okay, right? For all of you, it is convenient, right? 28th. 28th evening.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, then
28th.
fine. Okay, good. So prepare well. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, practice all the sums on this, handwritten material which is uploaded. Okay, so that you are more confident enough in answering the examination.